Hello everyone, Rylan here from Kallipolis Radio. I just finished another book today and I need to talk about this one. I finished a book today, about honestly like 5 minutes ago. It's called The Sins of the Fathers. I'd show you the cover, but the cover fell off. I got this from a little free library just in my neighborhood. Great program, by the way. Love those, especially if you build one of those in your yard. Great person. But I finished this book today, and I need to talk about it because I'm conflicted about this. So this book was written in 1980, so it's like 45 years old. And I don't know if I like it or not. So, to start with, it's a big book, 735 pages, small print. Took me a long time to finish this. Now, here's the thing with the book. Would I read this again? No, definitely not. I'm not going to read this a second time, ever, and probably in the rest of my life. But I would recommend that you read it. It's good enough for that. It's probably not good enough for a second read, is my opinion. And let me go over why. Well, for one reason, simple thing, there is like a little, I won't zoom in on this, there's basically a huge fucking spoiler right here on the front page that if the cover hadn't ripped off, I wouldn't have seen. So it kind of ruined a section of the book for me, which was annoying. But that leads into a bigger point where, so this book is told from a first-person perspective of 6 different characters. By the way, this book is set over the course of like 30 years. Like it starts in the 40s and it ends in the like late 60s. This book takes forever to go by, and sometimes it skips entire years, and then sometimes it spends like chapters on a single week. So it's just the timeline of this book is very strange. But it follows 6 characters who are all related to each other. It's set in the 50s. It's about like a big, powerful banking family. It's very like Desperate Housewives-esque. So it's like dramatic and fun, and it's, you know, it's drama, gossipy kind of book. But it's written from the first-person perspective of 6 different characters. Now, I didn't know that when I started the book, so I thought I was just dealing with the main character. And the main character has a bunch of chapters, and then you just leave him behind, and he's inconsequential to the rest of the story, basically. So the first character that they cover, Sam, you could probably cut his entire section out, and that would lop like 150 to 200 pages off the book. Like, you probably could lose all of his part. There's another part with another character called Alicia. You could probably drop her entire section as well. Only like 4 of these characters really matter. The other weird thing, this book is confused. The reason it's hard to talk about this book is because this book is so confusing. Like, the character they start with, you only find it out in the end, but basically his section spoils the ending of the entire book, basically, and the whole point of what everything was leading up to, which is weird. Because at first you read it and you're like, oh, this didn't matter at all. And then at the end you're like, oh, that whole section was actually just predicting the entire end and spoiled everything. But you don't find that out to the end because you have no idea where this book is going in the first place. It's just all over the board. You have no clue what the main point is. It's just everywhere, which is why it's very like reality TV-esque. If reality TV was a book, it would be Sins of the Fathers. That's what I will tell you. The main enemy, which is weird because like, they call him the arch villain in this part here. And if they hadn't done that, I would like it more because they humanize him really well. And I didn't even personally consider him a victim. I kind of liked him. He's sort of a nice guy, a little bit. If you've read the book, Cornelius is not really that nice, but he comes off sympathetically. So I wouldn't call him an arch villain. I barely even call him a villain at all. So for the book to call him the villain, it felt a little weird. Again, they have a huge fucking spoiler right here, which annoys the shit out of me. So I'm still fed up about that. But this book is very reality TV-esque. It's all over the place. It took me a long time to read this because I would just not know what the point of what they were talking about was, but then it all kind of makes sense at the end. The other thing too is there's a lot of like internal thoughts and internal monologues of characters, which is fine. I love that. I love Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky's my favorite author. And yeah, I know, Dostoevsky. But he is. And his novels are very psychological. This had a lot of that similar thing, but it was for stuff that's not really that impactful. It was like a lot of internal dwelling about just like basic shit. It's like, oh, I have kids, it's hard raising kids. One of the characters is an alcoholic who relapses. So it's a little bit understandable, but it's like, I don't need 20 pages about it. The book, you really have no clue where this is going until the last, like, honestly, the final character that they focus on, Vicky, should be the main character of this book, and the whole book should be from her perspective. Honestly, that's how I would do it. If you made the whole book from her perspective, the book would be way better. Cut all of Sam's part. I know I'm only addressing probably the 2 people in the world who've read this thing. I grabbed this because I've been trying to read stuff that I don't normally read, and it was in a little free library. The cover had like a, sexy pinup girl on it. I was like, whatever, this looks trashy, I'll take it. Did not expect what was going to show up on the inside of this book. Overall, this book annoyed me because I don't know what to think about this. I'm not going to read it again. Most of the characters are pretty forgettable. Nothing really that crazy happens. It's very reality TV-esque. But I would recommend you read it. So, I don't know. Would I call it a good book? I read the whole thing. I read the whole thing pretty quick, relatively. If that makes the book good, then sure, it's a good book. Would I call it a good book? Probably not. I wouldn't read it again. This is a one-read kind of book. But I would recommend other people read it. I recommend you read it. But the book is very confusing. It seems to have a lot of wasted space. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could have cut from this. The prose was nothing special, nothing spectacular. I never came across a line where I was like, oh, that's great. Combination of words that's very, like, poetic. Never had one of those. But I was curious to find out what happened because I had no fucking clue what was going on. So this book confused me to the extent that I had to finish it. So I'd say you should read it. I'm not going to read it again. I'm glad to be done with this. I'm annoyed about this spoiler thing. I'm annoyed. I got invested with the first character they opened with, and then I didn't know they were doing like a George R.R. Martin thing where they're switching between a bunch of main characters. And so I got invested in the character they opened with. And then I thought he was going to be the main character. And then, nope, sorry, he's not. And he also really doesn't matter at all. He kind of like foreshadows the end of the story a little, sort of. And I guess he sets themes. But it's like, I got attached to him. And I thought he was going to be the main character. And I liked him. And then, bye. So, overall, I would give this book like a 4.5 or a 5 out of 10. Now, I'm overly critical of books. I would recommend you read this, but it's still... I'm comparing this mostly against classic literature, which is most of the stuff that I read, not stuff like this. 4.75. You should read it. Sins of the Fathers by Susan Howatch, something like that. Go read it. Whatever. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. This is Kallipolis Radio, one of my book reviews. We'll see you all in the next one.